cheers will ring around the stadium in Houston.
So why are we having a break? You wouldn't in England, I don't know, it's just for advertising.
You could see some leagues maybe looking to adapt it in slightly warmer climes.
No.
The new hydration breaks at this year's World Cup are proving controversial, but did you know they could in fact be Cambridge University's fault? Well, sort of. I'm Rowan, a third-year law student and big Leeds United fan, and I'm going to look today at how the university has shaped the game as we know it today. It's said that football in some form has been played in Cambridge for nearly 450 years. And in fact, university records show records of a game between students and townspeople in 1597 that ended in a violent brawl. Now thankfully, things have calmed down since then. And that brings us here, to Parker's Piece. Parker's Piece is a huge piece of land in the middle of Cambridge, and it's said to be the birthplace of the first formalised set of football rules anywhere in the world. Now at that time, in the 19th century, most Cambridge students came from a small number of public schools across England. And it turns out that each one of these schools had their own set of rules for football. Now when the students came up to Cambridge, they struggled to agree on a single set of rules to play with, and actually it caused some disagreements. Apparently it was said that the rugby game was a great obstacle to the formation of a football club. Now I wonder if that sport ever got off the ground. Anyway, thankfully in 1848 the students came to an agreement and decided upon 11 rules of football that are said to be the first formalised rules of football anywhere in the world. Now unfortunately there are no surviving copies of those exact rules, however later iterations and commentary from the time allows us to recreate what we thought they consisted of. And in fact they've been reproduced here on a monument in Parker's Piece. But how might those original rules have led to the hydration breaks that are proving so controversial today? Well, the 1848 set of rules didn't mention half-time at all, and in fact, they ordered that players should change ends every time a goal was scored. The rules developed, and by 1863, players were instructed to change ends only upon half of the time of the game passing. But there wasn't really provision for a single break to be taken by players, never mind 3. Having said that, the Cambridge rules of 1863 came 7 years before the FA rules of 1870 that mentioned half-time at all. So perhaps the truest of hydration break critics could blame Cambridge for the original sin. Aside from half-time, many of the original Cambridge rules would have been very familiar to football fans across the world today. For example, kick-offs, goal kicks and fouls were all recognised, and there was even an early version of offside that was harsher than the one that we have today. Apart from that though, there were some really crazy rules. For example, players were actually allowed to catch the ball, and crossbars for some reason were not made of wood nor metal, but string. It's a good job that didn't catch on, or we would have been robbed of some of the greatest footballing moments of the modern era. For example, Tony Yeboah's screamer against Liverpool for the mighty Leeds United. Perhaps thankfully, many of the original 1848 Cambridge rules haven't quite caught on. Or else, we might have been seeing Harry Kane catching crosses, Bukayo Saka constantly offside, and Jordan Pickford swinging from a string crossbar this summer. It's thanks to the work of later students and footballing pioneers, including those from Sheffield and Scotland, that the game has gone from something local to a game the world loves. However, as hydration breaks have showed us, there may be further changes to come. Have it!